Today in History. It's April 30th, and we're going to continue with our journey to the past.
That is correct. We have two events to share with our listeners today, but first here is my quiz question. An iconic ceremony in Hollywood is imprinting the hand and footprints of a star in, number one, concrete, or number two, wood. Okay, one more time. An iconic ceremony in Hollywood is imprinting the hand and footprints of a star in, number one, concrete, or number two, wood. If you know the answer right now, you can put it on our Bundy board or text in on your cell phone, pounder sharp 1045 for 51 to win an eco bag and mug cup.
If my memory serves me correctly, I think Lee Byung-hun is one of the Korean stars who has done that.
Oh,
In
interesting.
Hollywood, like Walk of Fame. All right, so here are two things that we're going to cover during today's Today in History. Here's the list.
Today in history. In 1927, Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford become the first celebrities to leave their footprints in concrete. And in 1993, CERN announces World Wide Web protocols will be free.
Okay, well, we begin today's history journey with a milestone moment that paved the way for stars to leave their marks in stone. I mean, literally.
And paved the way, yes,
Exactly.
exactly. Well, it was on this day in 1927 that the first stars left their hand and footprints in concrete on one of Hollywood's most renowned landmarks.
And that's none other than the forecourt of the Grauman's Chinese Theater, now known as TCL Chinese Theater, as you can see there on 보이는 라디오.
That's right. I've never visited. Have you?
Oh, yes, a few times.
Is it cool?
It is cool.
Yeah?
Yes, it's always crowded there. There's a lot of a crowd of tourists from all over the world
Sure.
to actually walk around this famous place that it's called like a Walk of Fame.
It must be kind of cool to see all the different names and all the
Right.
different stars, right? Yeah,
그렇죠.
I'd like to go one day. Anyway, talking about the stars, the first hands and footprints were those of Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford.
Well, now the origin of what is dubbed as the longest running publicity stunt in movie history has been the subject of debate for many decades.
There's the picture of Mr. Pickford and Norma on the...
Ms. Pickford and Mr. Fairbanks.
Mr. Fairbanks, so thank you. Putting their stamp on things,
Yes.
if you will, right? Kind of interesting. Anyway, some say that it was silent screen star Norma Talmadge who accidentally stepped in wet concrete when the theater was under construction, an accident that was witnessed by the owner of the theater and inspired him the idea, so it came about by mistake.
Okay. Well, regardless of how it began, a tradition was born, and this ceremony became into one of the most iconic images in the movie industry. Okay, the ceremony is globally recognized today with stars from other countries immortalizing their names too, such as you can see there on 보이는 라디오, once again, 이병헌 씨 and 이병헌 씨. In 2012.
Pretty interesting,
Right.
right? Yeah. Some stars don't stop at just leaving their prints. Signatures have been widely used too, as well as objects such as skates or one's face or wands. Wand, W-A-N-D, a wand. Harry Potter cast.
Magic wand.
Yeah, the Harry Potter cast did that. Legs, knees, a fist, even a horse's hoof print.
Now, okay, let's move on to our next event, one that had deep repercussions of the good kind on the global scale.
Yes, on this day in 1993, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, better known as CERN, announced that the WWW protocols will be free for anyone and everyone to use.
The WWW가 이제 무료로 사용할 수 있다는 것이 발표된 날이 바로 오늘이었습니다. 1993년. Well, as you can imagine, this allowed for the usage of the internet to skyrocket at an incredible speed. Websites began appearing left and right, and had this event never taken place, and we would practically be writing a completely different history today.
Of course, and upon this announcement, most scholars agree that the next big milestone for the WWW to become what it is now was the introduction of the web browser browser Mosaic, which we mentioned a few days ago, right, on Today in History.
That's
and
right.
it was also during this time that the terms browsing and navigating and surfing became popular.
I remember those days actually when we were talking about, we used to teach those expressions like almost every day.
Surfing the web.
Surfing the
Yeah.
web, and what does browsing mean? Browsing used to be like shopping term though.
Right.
Can I help you with anything? No,
I'm
just
just
browsing.
browsing, sure.
네, then browsing became one of those internet sort of terms then.
Yep. Same meaning though, right?
Oh, yes.
Browsing the internet and browsing a shop, yeah.
그렇죠. Now it is important to note that www is not synonymous with the internet, even when they are used similarly in everyday speech. Well, the former is a collection of information, documents, and materials, while the latter is the means or the cyber highway where that information travels. So in other words, the web is one of the applications running on the internet.
That's right. One particular aspect of the www among users is, how do I pronounce it? Well, simply put, the general consensus is to spell it out, like we've been saying, www. But there are some variations, such as triple W, as well as wwa. That's how they pronounce it in New Zealand.
You know, Kristen Joe, who is the host of the show like Power English here, she used to be one of the segment leaders of Morning Special like way back when.
I used to do the Saturday show with Kristen,
Oh,
actually.
okay. And then she used to make mistakes like just one or two times, like www, but she used to go on to like www, like 4 times.
She's a woman ahead of her time.
Ahead of her time.
That's the next big thing in the
so
internet.
let's just be careful. Okay, just 3 W's, right? Not 4.
Right.
네. 자, okay, so those were the events that we just discussed today.
Sure, and here's the answer to the quiz question that I gave a few moments ago. An iconic ceremony in Hollywood is imprinting the hand and footprints of a star in, and the answer is number 1, concrete.
Concrete.
Well, that is it for Today in History, and when we come back, it's Matthew's time for Matthew's Kitchen. Here's Owl City, the Technicolor phase.